So from the power of emotional intelligence, skills that you can change the way you see yourself, the world around you, and everyone around you, and change the way you go about and reach your goals in life and goals you are pursuing. Emotional intelligence, critical skills. People go through more than 400 emotions experiences per day. Your ability to recognize and understand emotions and your skills at using this awareness to manage yourself and your relationships with others. Emotional intelligence is your ability to understand your emotions and to respond to them effectively to produce the behavior that you want. Phineas Gage, the accident that the railroad that he was working on, he was very persuasive to his employees and everyone around him. And one day they accidentally didn't put what they were supposed to put down, and he had an accident where it hit him in the eye and it hit him in the brain, and he recovered and came back to work. But his response to his emotions, everything you experience in the world around you must either enter at the base of your brain, which is the stimulus. So if you're listening to me speak and the signal travels through your ear to the base of your brain and someone bumps into you and you feel that sensation, then it travels across your brain and it travels through the limbic system. This is where your emotions are generated. So this is where the emotions are starting to come together and going through a process of coming through one source through you. Phineas' case was this part of his brain was still intact and his brain was producing emotions like normal, but he lost the rational part of his brain. The rational part, the area of the brain where he was able to read and respond to these emotions, but he was able to still feel and be determined to do what he was doing. Emotional intelligence combines it's your ability to understand these emotions that you're having. We're hardwired to be emotional creatures. Every day people go through different emotions. We live in a world that's necessary. Necessary doesn't teach us what's actually good for us. We go through life and we learn something every day that hey, this isn't the best thing for us. Coca-Cola ad says, for the better start in life, start cola early. How soon is it to start? Not soon enough. Laboratory tests over the last few years have proven that babies who start drinking soda during that early age will have much higher chance of fitting in and gaining attendance in their teens and preteen years. Fitting in those awkward ages, and then so do yourself a favor and do your child a favor by starting them with some sodas and their other sugary carbonated beverages right for a lifetime of guaranteed happiness. And then there's another ad that talked about sugar just might be the willpower you need to curb your appetite. Sugars need quick energy, can be the willpower you need to eat less. Doctors telling us how healthy it is to smoke more. Doctors smoke Camels than any other doctors or any other cigarettes. DDT is good for me. We are taught that the 3 R's in school, but we are not taught throughout to lead. We're not taught all the capabilities that we possess and that we utilize to make the most of life, and emotional intelligence is absolutely one of these. Emotional intelligence is absolutely distinct from your IQ, and your high emotional intelligence and have also a really high IQ. Another thing that people confuse with emotional intelligence is your personality. So if you come off with a bad personality, they think you maybe have a low IQ, so on. And actually, emotional intelligence is fundamental of skills, and emotions are the primary driver of our behavior. In flexibility, trust, accountability, assertiveness, anger management, presentation skills, social skills, customer service, stress tolerance, empathy, teamwork, communication, time management, decision making, and change tolerance are a big part of the primary drivers of what the behavior can drive to. Emotional intelligence accounts for what percentage of job performance and supervisors throughout the CEOs. It was about 60%. What percent of top performers have high emotional intelligence is 90%, and what percent of low performers have a high intelligence is 20%. Emotional intelligence scores by job title, individual contributor, people who don't supervise, supervisor, first-time managers, middle management, where the emotional intelligence scores peak. And then after that, it just goes downhill with the director, executive, vice president, senior executive, CEOs, and downhill slope was right from the middle. And then from How Worlds Change Minds, it was more about public thinking and thinking more complex, and how you're talking about social issues and issues like education or mental health, immigration or aging, climate change or race inequality, and how culture helps us to be more effective in communications, and how through the way we have been able to present information, we can get people to open up on access dramatically different ways of thinking and feeling and of acting about those social issues. Framing from variations and the way that we present information can lead to dramatically different perceptions and behavior also. And then there's 2 reasons why framing should matter to you. And in the position that you have, like, you can say that, like, you have a problem, like communication problem, perception problem, just how you take things or how you deliver things to people, because sometimes you can come off the wrong way, especially in a management position. You say expert and then you think public. The thing that was so brilliant in your head goes out and has the exact opposite effect on the people you are trying to persuade. The expert, persistent stress can derail development and have negative long-term effects on health and well-being. Life's hard. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, which was from the public. You know, there's been people that have come from absolutely nothing to make it in the society and eyes and gain success. So people definitely have different point of views, and just the way that you come off, you can be offending others, or you can just not be empathetic to the people that are needed for that. This realization that culture is always meditating in our meeting and complicating our job as communicators, gives us a paradox that both utterly common sense and completely game changer to them. Public understanding as an empty recyclable, and as a blank slate, as an empty fishbowl, and have thought that we have communicators can assume that we are audience and take things that so much sense to us. So just the way you have to put yourself in their shoes and feel like you're in their water, just how they're gonna react or how they're gonna respond to what you're saying. You just have to think it through. And we have to understand that the culture always complicates our jobs and the communicators, and if we can go a step further and understand how people or culture think and the issues, we can be more effective when we are delivering messages and talking to our team. And throughout these 2 videos, I feel like having a framework for your business or your organization is very dramatically helpful to help people and get the point across. And emotional intelligence can come from anywhere and doesn't matter where or who you are, but just having less stress and controlling it can help people in the long run.